Hey love, I thought it would be supportive to have a quick understanding and overview of human design before we have our reading together. First of all, human design is not a belief system. It's not something that you have to believe in order for it to work. Human design is actually rooted in astrology, the chakra system, the I Ching, the Kabbalah, and quantum physics and genetic code science. This is very much anchored in science, and the beautiful thing is that once we start to understand our design, it allows us to better understand the rest of the world and all of its beautiful people inside of it. Your human design is basically like your user manual. It teaches us about ourselves and how we were energetically created to move through this world. Imagine if our parents were given a user manual with us from the moment that we were born, so that they could have supported us in being our fullness, rather than society and our culture trying to get us to fit into these homogenized molds. Of course, our parents did the best they could with what they have, and we love them for it. And the beautiful thing is that now we finally have a language to understand this, and we get to share this with the rest of the world. Before we actually get into your specific design, I'm going to give you a quick overview on what it's going to look like when every one of the energy types is moving in harmony with one another. We technically have 4 energy types, but it's broken into 5 categories. We have manifestors, generators, manifesting generators, sort of a combination of the first 2, projectors, and reflectors. So, in the perfect world, right, we would see that manifestors are the initiators. They have this very direct access to source where they are coming up with ideas and inspiration and things that we would never have thought of, things that have never been seen before. They're very much like the trailblazer and the spark of our society. And their energy is very much direct and repulsive. I want to take a moment to just speak about the language of human design. Sometimes we get very caught on the verbiage. When I say repulsive, I don't mean people are like, ew, a manifestor. Definitely not. No, their energy is actually designed to create a clear pathway. So they have these surges of energy where they're like, I'm inspired, I had this idea, get on board or get out of the way, it's happening. And their energy, their aura actually creates a pathway by pushing other energies out of the way. This is a beautiful thing because it actually allows the rest of us to say, ooh, she's doing her thing, or wait, I want to get in on that. So, quick recap on the manifestor, right? They have surges and rests of energy. A surge where they're like, we're going, get out of the way, get on board, this is happening, create a pathway, I need a clear pathway, or they're like, okay, I'm going into rest mode now and I'm just gonna recover and regain my energy. Then we have generators. Generators and manifesting generators, their energy works very much, it's similar, it's pretty much the same. So I'll just speak to the generator energy as a whole. They have a very open and enveloping aura. Now, when they are in their magnetism, they are actually pulling people and energies into their aura. So where the manifestor has a clear, direct pathway and it's just like pushing energy out, the generator is pulling energy in. So the generators have this very consistent access to energy because they have a defined sacral center. And their energy is kind of like very consistent. So the manifestors are meant to work in a surge and an equal amount of rest. The generators have this very consistent energy. Now, the one really important piece to know is that generators are not meant to be workhorses or energizer bunnies on this planet. Definitely not. They are actually designed to be in their joy. They are designed to do things that give them pleasure, excitement, and a deep sense of satisfaction. And I'm stressing this point because it is actually all of our responsibility to make sure that generators are getting really a lot of satisfaction out of what they do. We need to feed them opportunities and feed them situations that are going to allow them to be in pleasure and in joy. And the reason this is so important is because everybody on this planet feeds off of that joy. We feed off of the energy or the fuel that generators provide to the rest of the world. So that excitement, that joy, that pleasure, that satisfaction has a rejuvenative effect. And imagine if the rest of us are feeding off that rejuvenative effect, we're going to feel excited, elated, and really, really good. However, if generators get really good at doing something that they do not like, that doesn't bring them joy, that makes them unhappy and feel a sense of displeasure, it has a degenerative effect. And the rest of the world, everyone else is feeding off that degenerative effect. It manifests as burnout, unhappiness, and displeasure. So understanding this really allows us to look at generators, which are 70% of the population, and say, are you doing something that brings you joy because you have the energy to do? It needs to be something that is regenerative, makes you feel excited, and a sense of pleasure. Then we have projectors, our lovely projectors. Again, sometimes the language can get a little funny in human design, so rather than thinking about what we know a projector is, let's take a moment to really look at it from this perspective. Projectors are here to see. Their gift of sight allows them to see situations, experiences, environments from a very zoomed out perspective. It's like if the rest of us were walking around and getting lost in a field or in a forest, the projector is the eagle above the forest, gently guiding us on our way out. They have this ability to spot error before they actually happen, which is such a beautiful thing. And because they have this deep ability to see us, right, their aura is actually deep and penetrative, which means that when you're in the presence of a projector, you feel that deep experience. They see you. And it's very important that we also see projectors for their gifts. We hold them to the highest level of appreciation for their gifts, and we invite them to share their gifts with us. Projectors' energy, unlike the manifestors, which is a surge and a dip, or the generators, which is a very consistent energy, projectors have a more wavy or sort of like inconsistent energy. The beautiful thing about this is that because they're so good at seeing things and just, being in their gift of success, they can get a lot more done in a lot less time. And what's really important for them is taking lots of breaks throughout the day. They might actually do an hour of work followed by an hour of taking a nap, followed by 2 hours of getting something done and working on projects, followed by another 2 hours of just like self-care, whatever, and that is energetically correct for them. And finally, we have our reflectors, who are 1% of the population. And the reflectors are so special because they are almost like, they're like the oracles of our time. And ideally, they are actually going to be placed at the center of society. Their aura is actually quite sampling. Because they have a completely open chart, it means that they're constantly absorbing, right? And ideally, they're not absorbing and clinging on to stuff. If you're a reflector, we'll talk about this in your reading. But because they're absorbing what's going on and reflecting it back, they are the perfect oracle, designed to be at the center of society, where we ask them, please, reflectors, share with us the health of our society, the health of our environment. And that is what their gift really is. Now, the reflectors work in a very different way from the rest of the types because they're a lunar being, where the rest of us are solar beings, which basically means they actually require a lot of spaciousness and time to really see things from a very clear perspective. So, quick recap of all of the types. Manifestors, they work in surges and rest periods. That surge might be a week long, followed by a week-long rest. It might be a month long, followed by a month-long rest, right? Surges and rests, and they have a very direct, repulsive energy, so they have a clear pathway to get shit done. Then we have the generators and manifesting generators, who have a very consistent access to energy. They need to be focusing on what brings them pleasure and joy, and when they're in their alignment and they're satisfied, they have an open, enveloping aura which pulls life towards them. Opportunities, situations, people, all of it. Then we have projectors. They have a more inconsistent energy type, and the projectors have this beautiful gift of sight. And remember, if you know a projector, because they have this deep and penetrative aura, they see you on such a deep level, and it is so important that we see them for their gifts. If you know a projector, take time to really appreciate them, love on them, tell them what you love that they do, and really see them for all that they offer to this world. That is going to really support our projectors. And the beautiful unicorn reflectors are here designed to be at the center of society. They are designed to be the ones who we go to and seek advice from, who reflect back to us the health of society. Their energy is a lot more slow and spacious because they are lunar beings, and it's really, really supportive for them to be held in this space of thank you. Thank you for supporting and reflecting back, and taking what they reflect back and really applying it on a deep, deep level is the greatest gratitude that we can give to our reflectors. So I know that this can feel like a lot if you're first getting into human design, and I'm going to stop here because this is quite a lot to focus on for the moment. And I will share a little bit more about your energy type and your authority in future videos. For now, take this, roll with this, let this integrate, and know that even if you hear it right now, it's still integrating on a deep, unconscious level. I'm so excited for our reading together, and I will see you soon.